in these journeymen who are still trying to make rosters and these undrafted free agents kind of gives you a nice feeling for kind of the underdog.
Which, by the way, I just thought about this, but I should have got my fucking former teammates on to talk about this shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, every year...
why didn't anybody suggest that?
Wait, your former teammates from high school?
Yeah, Austin Hill was like one of the stars of the Hard Knocks the last time the Rams were on. I don't even think about that.
Back in 2016?
Like, not one of the stars, but he was one of the storylines. As far as getting cut, his daughter was in it.
I really don't remember, and I watched all that one.
Yeah.
I assumed you were thinking of, like,
but go ahead.
Jazz
I'm sorry
Reynolds
to
out
interrupt
of Texas A&M.
Well, kind of getting a little depth of this, I wanted to bring up some highlights kind of things, but as I kept watching, because all the comedy relief, couldn't bear but to understand how much grown men been twerking and ass clapping online. It makes you say, WTF, what the fuck? So I want to discuss with you guys some the top 5 WTF moments I've seen. So I'll start off with 5, asking both of you. Number 5 in 2015, featuring Houston Texans. J.J. Watt staying after practice, playing to the song of Fort Miners, Remember the Name. Is this a part of his impeccable...
We definitely could have went our whole life,
or is this just a what the fuck? There's cameras on you.
You're bringing back very evil intentions in my heart right now.
Shout out to Vince Wilfork in those overalls.
Yeah, I blacked out when I saw J.J. Watt's Captain America fake John Cena ass doing that. I'm really angry now that...
Yeah, so it's just the cameras on there. These guys are like definitely there, just like, hey, the camera's on, let's play.
Fort Minor is pretty much like if Kenny left us and then went and started his own group with like a girl as his co-host and called it something else.
And it was fire?
Fort Minor was no Linkin Park.
Okay, don't fucking put me in that role. Damn.
Well, that's what it was. It was that. It was that Asian dude left Linkin Park.
Are you Chester Bennington? Or
it's a solo
Mike
project.
Shinoda?
They didn't leave. He was just a solo project. You know, he's still a part of Linkin Park. I think still currently.
Okay.
That's some wild shit. How dare you pay me?
Right. Well, let's move on. Here's another one. So number 4, 2010, featuring the New York Jets with, headlining with Coach Rex Ryan, always being profanity laced and talking about food in the middle of his pep talks.
Cornerback like this podcast.
Yeah. Cornerback Antonio Cromartie attempting and failing to name all 9 of his kids. Is this a WTF or just, hey, the cameras are rolling?
It's not a WTF only because I think he has more kids since then.
He has about 15.
Shit. Dead ass.
I found out, actually, my original birth certificate had /Cromartie. My mom
I mean, Phil Rivers knows all his kids, and he's got a baseball team for a family right now.
He has a fucking youth league.
But he doesn't cuss. He doesn't cuss.
Yeah, but he's like
a PG-13 cursing.
He's a country bumpkin. So there's some closeted racism there that I can't pinpoint, but I know it's there.
No, there definitely is. He's definitely,
especially with the high school he went to. Like, I know there's racism there.
Number 3.
So I want to go to what strikes you guys. So 2019 Oakland Raiders. Rookie Jonathan Abrams from Mississippi State sits down with quarterback Derek Carr on how to pronounce salmon or salmon.
That's the most I just moved to California fucking argument ever. Like,
that's some country shit. Country people be like, why do Californians talk like that?
But like Derek Carr is low key country too. That's why.
But he's straight up telling this. He's telling him, and he's like, he has no other excuse other than saying, okay, you got money now. Yes, you don't pronounce the L in salmon because that's just how it is.
No, when you're eating salmon, you gotta like have your pinky up.
And it's just salmon.
That's kind of revealing about Derek Carr. That's just the way it is.
But he's also talking to the kid that's just getting money for the first time to a guy that, well, he just got paid big money, so,
And it's not like his family was poor because your older brother played in the NFL. Sorry, you weren't hurting for cash.
But I just think about that whole series, and they're already talking about how much smoother this whole entire camp is just because they don't have that whole distraction of Hard Knocks. And, like, I think about Abrams.
All their DBs weren't getting murdered in practice.
And how big of a star he was in that show, and then he got hurt in the first game. And I think about AB, who again was like this in and out of star, and he didn't even play for the team. So I guess that's kind of why I don't even watch Hard Knocks anymore. But I mean, I still pay attention to it, especially because
the knocks aren't hard.
Wow. I was kind of...
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you say that? Can you say that?
Hey, Legal. Oh, yeah. Legal gave me green light on everything.
2?
All right, number 2. So getting a little close to home, too. So in 2016, transplant, former St. Louis, now Los Angeles Rams. Come back with a lot of controversy. Nick Foles was released for the number 1 overall pick of Jared Goff. However, Jared Goff, sorry. Jared Goff thinks that the sun sets in the east and that the world is flat. Is this a WTF, or is just the cameras are on?
He throws like there's no gravity, so I'm not really surprised.
He throws like he thinks he's aerodynamic when he plays football. Like, you're not fucking Mr. You're not Mr. Elongated, man. You just aren't very accurate.
Shout out to Kyrie.
The world is flat. I was going to say Sammy Watkins. Oh, God, just everything on that.
I mean, if the world is flat, then how do you explain you threw for all those yards in college, but then you bottomed out when you got to the league?
God knows. All right.
And number one.
So coming back on. I mean, this could be so bad, but you're kind of saying on it. 2019 Oakland Raiders again acquired wide receiver superstar Antonio Brown. I mean, above all the things that went wrong, let's just narrow it down to frostbite feet.
Honestly, all things considered, that was like the least WTF moment because
that was expected.
That shit is cold as fuck in that chamber.
My foot didn't even look that bad after.
Like the only reason why I could relate is one time I was undoing my freezer, and like, you know those little like coils in the back. Those shits were cold as fuck. And I could just imagine, like, going into a room filled with those, and it's just cold as fuck. Like...
And just everything with Antonio Brown with that. I mean, just the hype. Everybody wanted him there. He made himself get out of Pittsburgh for many reasons, and realizing how much Pittsburgh kind of, like, not only coddled him. Enabled him. There you go. That's the best way to say it. But then he gets out, and it's like, oh, now you're in the real world, and people are not only paying you but expecting you to be a professional. And God, did he fail? The Raiders tremendously gave him a lot, gave up a lot for him, and then didn't get a thing for it. And then all of a sudden, hey, the Patriots come pick it up on the discount plan as they normally do with superstars, and then they get one touchdown in one game, and then all of a sudden his career is arguably over. I mean, even if he comes back this year, a team's got to suffer 8 weeks without him, maybe, and then God knows what's going to happen.
Well, the Seahawks want him, so
I mean, good luck.
I just want to go back to how bad his foot looked. Like, I remember,
that's the thing that just lingers in your dreams.
They did look really bad.
Because my foot looked like that, similar to that when I broke it, and I was looking down at it. Oh man, I was like, I was at Centinela for like 6 hours. Don't fucking be in. Don't. If you don't have to go to Centinela Hospital, just don't go. Fuck it. Die or cut it off. Like, those are your problems. Or develop a drug habit. Like, but, man, I literally remember, and my foot was fucked. Like, it was hanging off to the side in a different direction than the rest of my body, pretty much. And, like, the coach put it in a
Kenny,
splint.
Did you hurt your foot your senior year of high school?
Memories. I tore my ACL. I tore my MCL. Yeah, no, I believe that. It sucks, man.
But like, the worst part was like waiting for them to reset my whole foot and ankle. Doctor walks in, gives me a punk ass Motrin, like the smallest possible amount of. He should have just gave me a pack of fucking Skittles, some sour Skittles. That would have probably helped more. He gives me that. 45 seconds later, all right, we're gonna do this. Grabs my foot, jerks it extra fucking hard. I'm looking out the window. God, just kill me now. Just hit me with a stray bullet. I'm cool with this. Just take me out. It's okay.
Oh,
like,
man.
The pay for death, it doesn't come. Just more pain. Snaps my shit back into place. My mom just knows I'm in agony. My sister's in the corner fucking traumatized, screaming. And I'm like, biting my fucking lip off, and I'm just like, the whole time I'm in agony, I'm like, this motherfucker really gave me a 250 milligram Motrin. I am so upset. I'm not even in pain. I'm just mad. Like, I was looking at his foot, and I was like, this stupid motherfucker didn't put shoes on in a cold environment, hurt his foot, and is still at 60% shitting on all these DBs. I broke my foot once, and it was over. I was so mad.
Crazy is when he was like literally dusting everybody. That was the most what the fuck moment.
These corners are terrible.
He was shitting on these corners and killing all the receivers. And then he takes his fucking shoes off.
Looks like the monster from the Goonies on his foot. Looks like fucking the Nightmare. What's the Nightmare Before Christmas? The Big Bad. When he finally, the big boogie turns into a monster finally and maggots come out. Like, what the fuck? That's what your foot looks like? It's like when you watch the movie Don't Look Under the Bed.
What do? You look under the bed.
Yeah, like the black dude turned into a monster. I was like, what kind of shit is this? Did they use the same makeup artist from The Wiz? Because this dude is not scary. I just felt like he's going to start singing Get On Down the Road. Like, it was ridiculous. That whole, like, and if we're talking about like top what the fuck moments, there's like 18 what the fuck moments in that season. But I would have definitely just gone with the same season with J.J. Watt when D'Angelo Hall, a former Raider, was talking shit and DeAndre Hopkins just broke his ankle.
Oh God.
On a route, just broke his ankle.
Nice. Well, just to finish up on real quickly, it's just, Hard Knocks, if you're not used to it, there's just kind of gets a little more sentimental. I mean, you get to see the comeback of people's major injuries, and then one thing that kind of stood out to me is back in when they had Miami featuring, is just seeing Chad Ochocinco's career being ended on a domestic violence accusations. I mean, don't headbutt your wife, but that's one of those things that's aired that's kind of sentimental on that show that kind of shows like the reality of what some of these superstars can and will and have gone through. So, shout out to Chad Ochocinco. You hit your wife and you pay with your career. Peace.
In his defense, a headbutt is a defensive move, which means he was getting his ass whooped. And also, Evelyn Lozada is no angel or no saint.
Well, isn't his wife taller than him?
Nah, he's tall, but like she has a history of beating the fuck out of people on camera. Like Evelyn Lozada, you can just look up her best hits. That chick is violent. Like, and she was engaged to him. She was engaged to Chad. And she then was engaged to Carl Crawford after that. So, I'm just saying, yeah, you shouldn't hit women, but a headbutt is a defensive maneuver to get somebody the fuck off you. Let me say it, though. Hello, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, this is Corey Listoki. I'm calling from Auburn, Alabama.
What's up, Corey? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you two doing tonight?
Good.
Pretty good.
So for those of you who don't know, Corey here hosts the Hardcore CFB podcast. He's a friend of the show. He's been on before, and we're happy to have him here again. So with that, man, I want to start with you. How are you doing considering the recent cancellation? How do you feel both as a fan and someone who covers the game at such a deep level?
Absolutely. I was actually trying to figure out the last time that I was on, and it was some sort of signing day. I don't know if it was early signing day or the actual signing day, but
yeah.
I was like, man, a lot has happened since then.
Yes, sir.
And our world's kind of been flipped upside down. So, I mean, it's been nuts. It's been nuts. Before we kind of get into this and we talk about the sad news that's kind of been floated around college football, I do need to say that, like you mentioned, college football is kind of what I dive into almost on a daily basis. It's my passion. It's something I always am thinking about. I'm always caring about. So when we talk about this, I know I probably will seem a little bit more skeptical of everything. But just like every other fan out there, I really do love the game, and I love analyzing the game. So I'm just as heartbroken as the next person. But I think the heartbreak has kind of slowly happened for me. I think the last couple of weeks it was pretty clear that a lot of college football wasn't going to be played in normal capacity. And so it hasn't been like a one single day to me. It's been more of like, I guess a slow stabbing at my college football heart.
And I know like you said, you cover all college football, but, you have a special place for Penn State, the Big Ten. So with their season postponed, you look at the other conferences that maintain, they're still going to